guys, welcome to my art channel. Thanks for stopping by to make some art with me. For more free art lessons, you could press the button below and subscribe right there on that red button. And I will see you really soon. Now let's get to making some art. Bye-bye. Hi, welcome to Mixed Media Art. Today we're going to learn how to make sugar skulls out of Model Magic. The supplies you're going to need are your Model Magic, Elmer's glue, some toothpicks, sequins, and magic markers. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to create the shape of the sugar skull. So I'm going to take about a handful of Model Magic and I'm going to squeeze it into and roll it into a ball to smooth out any of the creases. And you can do it by rolling it on the table like this, or you can roll it between your hands. It doesn't have to be a perfect ball. You just want to get it as smooth as we possibly can. And then we're going to take it and we're going to squash it like a pancake. Like that. Just squash it between your palms. And from there you should have a sort of a circle, right? I'm going to press it down a little bit. So it's going to be about the size of your hand when you're done. Okay? Once you have your circle, you're going to take your thumb and your pointer and you're going to hold the bottom of it just like that. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch it just a little bit. Squeeze it just on the bottom part. Do you see what's happening there? It's changing the shape. Okay, once you change the shape, you can tap it down a little bit to flatten it, and then you have the shape of a skull. And we are ready to start decorating it. So I'm just going to press that down a little bit. Now when we make the sugar skulls, we want to start with the eyes. And there's a number of ways to make the eyes. So I'm going to show you a few different options. The first one is to start with a little pinch and to make a tiny little ball like that. And you will need 2 of those like that. And then the next step, you're going to take another pinch, and this time you're going to roll it like a snake. You keep rolling, but if you roll it too thin, it will break, so just be careful. Okay, I'm actually going to grab my scissor and I'm going to cut this like that. And I'm going to take one piece of this snake-like clay and I'm going to roll it around my eye like that. And now I'm going to do the other eye. And you don't have to press hard for the clay to stick to its surface. So once you have the eyes like that, you can press the middle ones down just a little bit, squeeze them in. And that's one way to make an eye. That's a really easy way. And another way to make the eye is to make it like a flower, which is very popular in sugar skulls. So I'm just going to pull this part off. And I'm going to show you how to make the flower eyes. So when you do the flower eyes, you're going to start with little smaller pieces. Those 2 balls you're going to start with again for the middle of the eyes. but they're going to be a little bit smaller this time. Really, really tiny. And you're going to place them on your sugar skull like that. And then you're going to make petals. And to make the petals, you're going to make those little circles, just like you made for the little eyes here. And then you're going to squeeze them just a little bit. They almost look like if you've ever eaten a Tic Tac. Just a little tiny petal like that. And I'm going to put it above the eye. Like that. And I'm going to make 4 more petals to put around the eyes. So this is the second idea of how you can put the eyes together. This is a little bit more complex way to do it, but a lot of times when you look at sugar skulls, they do have those flowers around their eyes. Roll it in a ball, and then I'm going to just squish it down a little bit to make that petal. Like that, and that's how you make the flower around the eye. I'm going to do it on the other eye now. So I actually have 6 petals, and I started by the first petal on top of the eye. Like that. And then the second petal I'm putting underneath the eye, like that. Then I'm putting the next petal on. And here's the 4th petal. And I'm going to put 2 more petals right on the tops, on either side of that top one. And that's how you do the flower eyes. So you could either do the eyes with the dots and then the circles around them, or you can do flower eyes for your sugar skull. It's up to you. I'm going to keep the flower eyes, and I'm going to move on from here. When you make the nose of the skull, if you look at this, and I turn it upside down, you see that shape of the skull, of the nose? It actually looks like a heart. So the nose is in the shape really of an upside down heart. So the way to do that is you're going to take a piece and you're going to roll it into a ball to make it nice and smooth. And then you're going to roll it into a snake again. And then you're going to take your snake and you're going to form it into a heart. But I have to measure it because I think this is way too long for my nose. So I'm going to pull some off. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this snake in half like this. So it almost looks like a U right now. And I'm just going to pinch it to make it look more like the letter V, like that. Then I'm going to take the tops and I'm going to round them in on either side. See how I form the heart? Now I'm just going to put it on the table and make sure it's together. Everything's stuck together well. And make sure I like it. I think it might be a little bit too big, so I'm going to pull some off. Now I'm going to use my toothpick to kind of, before I push it down onto the clay skull, just to move it around a little bit and make sure I like it. And there you have the nose. Again, if I turn it upside down, it's a heart, and this way it's the nose. So there's also a few different ways you can make the mouth, so I'm going to show you that. there's a very simple way, and that is just making that snake again, that snake line again, and pushing it right down onto the clay. And then making a few short little lines with your clay. Just like that. They actually look like almost like a piece of rice. Okay, then I'm going to take that and I'm going to put it right on top of that line that I made for the mouth. And that can give me one style of mouth. Or, if I pull that off, I can make another snake, okay, and I could attach it and make kind of like an oval, and I could twist the oval up to make a smile. Let's see, it might be a little big, so you're going to have to measure it to the face, to your skull face, like that. And then I could put some teeth inside if I want. And I'm going to roll up the clay again, or the Model Magic, and make those little rice shapes to make the little teeth. And I could put that inside. So this one's a little bit harder to do. A little bit different. So that's the other way to make a mouth. And I think I'm going to leave this mouth. So we've done the eyes, nose, and the mouth. And something that sugar skulls are, the designs that are very popular on them are floral designs usually found on the forehead. Like this flower on the forehead here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. You're going to make a little snake again, and you're going to form it into almost like a little U shape, like that. And you're going to put it on the top of the head, like that. And now we're going to add some little round petals around the outside of that U. So you're going to make some tiny little balls like this to put around that U shape as the petals of the flower. I'll show you, I did one over there. Now we have a few on there, and I think I'm going to probably put one more on there, one more little petal, like that. So now we have the flower on the forehead. And if you have room and you want to, you can put some decorations on the cheek with the Model Magic. You can put some heart shapes on the cheek, or another little flower. I'm going to put a heart shape on the cheek. To make little hearts for the cheeks of your skull, you can just press the little clay pieces into a heart shape by pinching the bottom and pinching the two little tops like that. It's going to be hard to see. Hopefully you can see that, like that. And I'm just going to press that right onto the cheek there. Just like that. Now I'm going to get to the next cheek, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pinch the bottom part, and then I'm going to pinch the two tops of the heart and shape it like that. And then press it down, and I could also use my toothpick to help shape that heart if I need to. And press it down. Okay, now, because we're using Model Magic, it almost feels dry to the touch. You just have to be very careful because you could change the shape of it. But we can work on it with magic marker. You just have to be gentle, okay? So I'm going to start adding some color to my skull, my sugar skull. And I'm going to start by giving some colors to the petals of the eyes. I'm just pressing really, really gently so I don't squish the clay. Or if you like, you can wait till the clay dries. It takes about 1 to 2 days to fully dry, so it won't squish anymore. But if you're very gentle, you can work on it right after you put it together. So I just colored in the petals on the one eye, and I'm going to do the other eye. And then I'm going to add some color inside on the inside of the flower, and let's see how it looks after I do that. See, as long as you're gentle, it won't change the shape, and look how nice and bright that is. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to color his nose, or her nose, the same way. I'm just going to be very gentle. I'm also going to do the mouth. I'm going to do, well, I have red. I think I'm going to do my cheeks, the hearts that I put on the cheeks. I'm going to make them red. But you can make them any color you like. And inside the mouth, those lines that we drew, I'm going to actually put a black line over those. Just like that. So you can see the separation of the teeth. And before I color in my flower, you can either take a straw or a pencil if you want and make a hole in the top of your sugar skull so you can put a thread through it and hang it. To do that, you're going to put your pencil and twirl it, but don't go too close to the top, okay? And you're going to do it with your skull on the table. You're going to put it down, and I'm going to just show you where I did it. Notice, see the hole? I left room because I don't want the hole to break through the clay. And I'm going to put my pencil in, and I'm just going to twist it a little bit. And I'm very gentle because I don't want to misshapen anything, but you'll see it's coming out the other side. And then I can twist it the other way, and I have a hole that I can hang it when it's dry. Now you can't hang it because it's still, the clay is still wet, not wet, but it hasn't fully dried, so it's still moldable and it will mush. And now I can go back to finishing the flower, the last flower. And so I've colored mostly the face, but I'm also, because the sides are so thick, just like you see here, I'm going to put a little design on the sides. And by doing that, it gives me an opportunity to add more color to my sugar skull. And I'm just being careful not to press too hard on anything and mess up my shape or swoosh my shape. So what I did was I added some interesting design to the sides, and I have my shape is still pretty intact. And now if you can get your glue and your sequins, we could add some sparkle to your skulls, to your sugar skulls. So I'm going to take my sequins, I'm going to put them in the cap because there's so many and there's so little. And I'm going to look around my skull and pick out some sequins that I want to use. The first thing I'm going to do, I think I'm going to put sequins right in where the orange eyes are. So I'm just going to put a little dab of glue. I don't want too much glue, but the school glue will dry clear, so you don't have to worry. And sometimes it's hard to pick these up, so you could try using a toothpick to move them. And I'm just going to pat them down using the toothpick because, as you can see, the glue is already making other sequins stick to my fingers. So I'm just going to tap those down into place. So now I've added the sequins to the eyes, and I'm going to continue playing around with the sequins and seeing where else I might want to put them. On this particular sugar skull, the sequins, I turned the sequins into flowers and made a flowered headpiece. And on this one, I just used a few sequins, but I put some sequins around the eyes because on this one I didn't do the floral eyes, I did the other eyes, the circular eyes. So I just added a little pizzazz with those sequins. So I find it easier to actually put the sequins on a flat surface and pick them up by pushing my fingers down on them, and then they stick to my fingers because they could be a little bit tricky sometimes when you're trying to pick them up. And if I find them falling, I just push them down with my toothpick. Because I find if I push them down with my fingers, sometimes I have too much glue stuck on my fingers. So I have to go like this and get the excess glue off. So here I added some sequins around the eyes. And now I'm going to add some sequins on top where I made those flower petals. And I just put them on the flower petals like that. And you could add as little or as many sequins as you like. I added some sequins to those little hearts. And maybe I'll put some sequins inside the nose. And don't worry if you could see the glue because the glue is going to dry clear. You can also put sequins all around the outside of your skull if you like. Sugar skulls are meant to be very, very decorative. Lots of sparkle. Because they're a celebration of people that we have loved very much. So I think that's all I'm going to do with mine. So you can continue working on yours. When your sugar skull is dry, the glue has to dry, and also you want the clay to dry. So once you've decorated it, you can put it aside for a day or so to completely dry, and then you can string in some yarn to hang it up. And that is our sugar skull for Day of the Dead celebration in Mexico. I hope you liked it. I will see you soon.